All right, we are live,
Yep.
but it still says streaming starting soon. Are you sure?
Don't look at the YouTube. First thing, no, this is not doing.
So, I am not sure if this is live. It says streaming starting soon.
No, you are in the state. Okay. Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah, you're not.
You are not okay.
I was like, yeah,
1 second, no worries.
I want to see it change now.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey everybody. We have Harnoor Singh here, and this is our office in Menlo Park, California. This is the Twin Mind office/house. Thanks everybody for joining. I'm Daniel. I'm the CEO of Twin Mind, and
I am just a YouTuber. I've been working as a software engineer. So I'm here to host Daniel. It's an honor to be here. It's one of my favorite app I use every single day. I'm not hyping it up. I am saying honestly, I used to use a different app for my note taking. I've switched to TwinMind, but today we're going to talk about money hacks with Daniel because he is someone who made 140K during his PhD time and became financially free at the age of 29.
yeah, I can give a quick background about my life. So I came here as a international student, just like you, in 2015 to do my grad school, and then I actually figured out a bunch of hacks where I was able to work at Google and work from in other places as a PhD student and CPT throughout the year, and also work in the summer. And I was actually, able to invest every single dollar I made as a grad student, and then worked at Google, JP Morgan. Ended up making $1 million by the time I was 27, and then kept investing more and retired at 29. I thought I would just retire and just travel the world. Did that for a couple of years, and then I started TwinMind. I came back here to California to start TwinMind. But I had all these students, including our interns and a lot of people during the. Oh, they can't hear us with the background music. Who is playing the music? Sorry about that. I think they're gonna fix this soon.
Yeah, just a minute. Sorry.
So is it better now?
Can you all hear us now? All good.
Awesome.
All good. Okay. So coming to the main point, why should students watching us should stick with us for the next 1 hour and hear and listen to you?
So I had all these interns and all these people who came to my last AMA ask me about all these financial hacks and travel hacks that I have done over the last 10 years. And I thought this would be a great thing to like tell everybody, not just people who know me. So uh, everybody put together this AMA so that I can like tell the whole world about these hacks that I've been figuring out over the last 10 years, including how I was able to work as an international student on CPT and make over $140,000 a year as a PhD student while enrolled full time, and then invest in a span of 5 years, go from like $900 to over $1 million
by the age of 27 and becoming like achieving that financial independence at the age of 29.
So all the hacks that I figured out, how to invest money, how to like like travel for almost free, and also like optimize all these credit cards and broke like stock market investing accounts and Roth IRAs and 401ks and all these like tax hacks, and like how I was able to travel the world for like almost free and still save more money on taxes by just leaving the US for a year. So I've been telling all these other interns at Twin Mind about this, and they were like, let's do it. And thanks so much for coming to host this event.
100%. I mean, I can connect with all international students. Like, I was saving every single dollar going out to eat, even Indian food, less than once a month. Even at Subway, the cheapest fast food places, less than once a month. Like, I was trying to like save as much money as possible, and Indian food is expensive whether it's at restaurant or sometimes cooking home. Pasta is cheaper than cooking Indian food at home. So let's talk about what are the biggest money hacks that students can learn in terms of saving money that they don't realize.
So I think the first thing I did when I came to the US was like, like I should have done is to like sign up for a credit card as soon as I can, because the length of your credit history really matters. So the earlier you get it, the better. So you get a social security number, get a credit card. Even you can get it even without a social security number, student cards, and start building your credit score the day you come here. Because later on, that ended up being so useful, because I then ended up getting 20 credit cards
100%.
and racked up like over 3.5 million points, and then redeemed it for like $100,000 in hotels and business class flights. So when we traveled for 3 years, all of that was like paid for. All the flights was paid for just for free with credit card points. And that's because you have to start building that credit score really early. 100%. That's one thing. And then the other thing I did was like I found this thing called Soylent. Actually, I don't think most people would do this, but I found this thing called Soylent, which is like a meal in a bottle. You can
It was
just
invented in Bay Area, right?
It was invented in the Bay Area by some Silicon Valley founder because he wanted to write code while he was eating. He didn't want to like take a break. So he was just drinking Soylent and writing code. And then I figured out that one of my other grad student friends had told me about it, and I tried it out, and it's like $2 a meal. And I don't have to go grocery shopping, cooking, nothing. But I don't think most people would do that. But still, like investing every dollar, even as a grad student, even when I was on a stipend, I was working as a TA or an RA, or then I was ended up getting fellowships from like NVIDIA and all these other companies, and I invested every single dollar I had instead of buying stuff. Even as a PhD student in Tesla, NVIDIA, all of them are like up like 30 times 100%. Since 2017. So every dollar actually is now up 20x.
So investing as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Now, can you define financial independence as an international student? So we're gonna let everyone type their questions as well, because everyone watching want to achieve financial independence, and especially when you're not making money as a student, investing your parents' money in US stock market, it doesn't feel like an easy or like legit option for them.
So one of the best things you can do as a student in the US is like you can actually work throughout the year. So I started doing this from my very first year here. Is that there's something called part-time CPT. You can work 20 hours a week, anywhere on campus, off campus, anywhere you want, as long as it is somewhat related to your area of research or area of study. I was doing like astrophysics, computational astrophysics. I was able to work in the industry on computational science and like machine learning. So I worked at Wolfram Research and
off
Google.
campus.
Off campus.
Off campus, like it's not on campus, but you have to wait till first 2 semesters are over, and then you can not just work off campus like in big companies like in summer, but also during your classes in fall and spring, while taking your classes part-time 20 hours, and make more money because industry pays way more than campus.
Yeah, and you can also stack scholarships on top of that. I was able to apply for scholarships and fellowships, so that if you like, I did not get any in my first year, but I kept applying and I got a bunch in my second and third year. So you can actually rack up multiple fellowships, which means that you don't even have to do a TA or an RA. Fellowships would pay for your entire like tuition and your stipend. On top of that, you can work 40 hours a week at companies or during the semester, and then 40 hours a week as an intern every summer. And then you actually end up with a lot of money that you can actually start investing and like paying for your all your expenses and everything.
Interesting. So stacking up fellowships, like when I was working as a master's student, I got fellowship as well from the university, which pays for my tuition. Let's say research assistantship. So how do you maximize your fellowship opportunities? You're saying if it's easy that by like I got 50,000 Nvidia fellowship. It sounds easy, but it's not for most students. How can they maximize these opportunities in terms of fellowships
So
and scholarships?
So the reason like I was able to get it is because I just applied to like 30 or 40 different ones, and I got rejected by all of them the first time I applied. So even the NVIDIA fellowship I got rejected once or twice before I got it. And so you just have to keep applying, and the more times you apply, the harder, like the easier it is to get in. And they also see your persistence in doing this. So you just have to be like like I can actually share. I've shared all my fellowship applications, including the ones that got rejected and the ones that got accepted online. So we can actually put that as a link in the description somewhere later. But yeah, so you just have to be persistent. And even if you don't have fellowships, it's okay. You can still work during the summers. You can still work part time. Like I was doing 10 hours a week to get a RA position and 10 hours a week as a intern in my one of those semesters.
Wow.
So there's so many opportunities out there. You can just keep like looking for it. There's like probably thousands of different programs you can apply to.
And how to stay in touch with all of these programs and opportunities. Like right now, news is broken.
Yeah.
News is based on recommendation. News is fed to you by what algorithm understands you, not what you really want sometimes, what you deserve, what the hard work. Like no algorithm understands that you want to work hard. They want to just give you quick entertainment in terms of short news. So how do you consume the best news in terms of something that helps you get fellowship, tech news, and how do you think about it?
Yeah, so I think
opportunities.
It's easier these days, right? You can actually go ask ChatGPT, Perplexity, TwinMind, any of these models to go through and like find every single opportunity that you can ever apply for, as given your like whether it's year of school you're in and like where you are at and all that, and it actually would do a great job. So AI is actually making it easier to find things. Back in the day, you had to go Google and read like hundreds of different websites and like keep searching for different things. It's actually getting easier and easier to find it, as long as you try to look for it. You just have to ask these models, right?
100%. And like follow the right people who are inspiring. A lot of people in industry are posting on Substack, Twitter, LinkedIn. And like if you follow the right people, you get to know as well. So coming to more financial, there are some questions we are getting. So how did you pick stocks? And how can we get a list of these fellowships? That is very helpful. So let's go with the list of fellowships first.
So I have applied for fellowships a long time ago, so the list might have changed, but there is a lot of programs by Microsoft, by Google, by like Facebook. All these companies have programs for students. They have like Google has programs for both undergrads, grad students, and so on. If you are like passionate about a field, OpenAI has programs. All these companies are now having programs to incentivize students to like both for internships and also for like research grants and fellowships and so on. So it's like I'm come out of date with what is going on right now because I graduated in 2018. But like this is something that we can actually put in a link or something after the talk.
Sure.
But then we can talk about the next one. Like how do you pick stocks? I think Warren Buffett had like the best advisor. You just invest in companies that you like, that you actually use yourself and you see your friends using and are popular and people love it. So at the time I was just obsessed with tech, right? When in 2016-17, I was working on AI and I was applying AI in astrophysics, and I just was obsessed with AI, and I was like trying to find which companies would be working on AI and that I actually liked. So I liked Google. I like invested in Google. I like Tesla because they were doing self-driving cars. I invested a lot in Tesla. NVIDIA. I like playing video games, but also like they were doing a lot in terms of AI, machine learning models, training with GPUs. So I was just trying to see like what are the companies that I know about, that I understand, the topics that I understand, and then I am better than others at investing in areas that I understand. Right. So if you are specialized in some area, chemistry or biology or whatever, and you look at what companies that you understand and how, what they're doing well and their products you like. That's one way to do it. Another way is just to buy index funds. If you want to be just lazy, just buy like I put like 80% of my money in just index funds like VTI, S&P 500, VOO, like Vanguard index funds. Everybody has these index funds that just buy the top 500 companies in the US, or all the top 3,000 companies in the US weighted by market cap. You just buy it and you forget about it. Somebody has a quote, right? Time in the market is better than timing the market. So I stopped trying to like trade. I just buy and hold forever, because the
100%.
time in the market always beat time in the time. Uh, Timing the market is extremely difficult. Nobody can do it. Warren Buffett actually had a bet with all these top hedge funds in the world that over 10 years, if they're able to beat S&P 500, he would give them $1 million. He gets $1 million, and he won.
Yeah, 100%.
And studies show that a cat that randomly buys hundreds of stocks can beat an experienced financial advisor who's like trading, buying and selling all the time.
That is so true as well. Like some random guesses can be better than humans guessing. And most importantly, I think Warren Buffett has a Q&A page. If you just Google Warren Buffett investing Q&A, all the advice he has given in life are over there. All the questions he's been asked in life. And the biggest lesson what I've learned is he says that 99% of the people watching will be better off just by holding S&P 500.
Yeah.
And 90% of your assets should be just there, and just play with 10% of your asset. If you want to pick stocks, just pick for the 10% of your portfolio. 90% of the portfolio should be just index funds. You agree?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, that's why I just do it right now. Also, your time is worth a lot. I think as a student, you're already paying a lot of money and like taking time out of your life to go to grad school or undergrad. And you should not be like spending your time to save a little bit of money here and there. Like Sam Altman has a quote, right, where he said he was acting like his time was worth $500 an hour, even when he was 19 years old, because someday it will be. So if you're investing the time in yourself, like you're investing the time in your brain will grow exponentially. Like just like money grows exponentially, your skills and your ability to earn money will also grow exponentially. If instead of like doing activities to save a little bit of money here and there, you're spending the time building skills, building knowledge, learning new things.
100%. And think every day as if like that as well. If Uber Eats or DoorDash saves that time, you're thinking yourself that you are getting $500 an hour. You deserve that. So even if you're spending in things that save your time, it's totally worth it. And now here comes the next question. As a student, how much should I aim to invest each year? I think someone answered it. It's just like 10 to 15% of income.
I mean, I was investing about like 80% of my income or something,
and not keeping any like.
Not as a student,
Plan
but
B.
I think the rule should be that this is my personal rule. Like you should like just buy all the essential things you need. Nothing that's like a luxury or like like that you don't really need to survive. Just buy the things you need to survive, and then just like invest everything else. And then like the money that you make investing is what you can use to then buy things that you don't really need, right? If you want like a fancy, like I don't know, car or like video game or whatever, you can use the money you make investing to buy it. So like, but only use the money that you earn by selling your time. You only use it for essential stuff.
100%.
That's actually good. So the more money you invest and make, the more you can then later on in life buy luxuries. So yeah, and just like buy the bare essentials and just invest the rest.
And the biggest thing we can learn from him is he's a minimalist. The biggest quote he taught me: the stuff you own
ends up owning you.
Stuff you own ends up owning you. Like, can you break it down?
Yeah, so like especially in your 20s, right? Like you should like, I don't think like you should be owning a lot of things, because every dollar that you could be investing would like grow exponentially by the time you're in your 30s. So like especially as you're young, it's better to be free. Especially you can if you don't own anything, you don't buy a house, a car, like all these things that tie you down to a place. You're actually more free to go and like find the best opportunities. If you get a better job in a different city, or you find a new opportunity, you want to travel the world, you can actually do more, and those experiences are worth much more than all the things that you can buy and that constrain you to live a life in one place. Like buying a house early, having a car early, even like having kids early, all these things lock you down to one place. And then you're constraining your opportunities and like future potential.
Yeah, the friction. For example, so many people will get opportunities to work in Bay Area, Chicago. Like even as an international student, you need to apply all over the US. So let's say you're not owning much stuff. You don't need to bother your friend that, oh, take this suitcase, please help me carry it while I move to a different city. So less stuff you own reduces the friction to move to a different city, friction to move to a different country, even, and reduces the stress in your mind.
Yeah, so everything. So my wife and I sold everything we owned in like 2020, and we only had one backpack each, and then we were just living and for 3 years in all these 27 countries. We just lived from hotel to hotel to hotel, Airbnb to hotel. We just kept jumping, and 1 month in each country. And that was actually so freeing. You get a great experience. You learn how to live, be happy without owning things. Like we just had like I just had what 5 pairs of like t-shirts and pants, and that's it. Like you and a laptop. That's all you really need to be happy.
100%. Yeah,
All these materialistic things actually make you less happy.
100%. I mean, I think that is something I'm doing right now. I just have three suitcases in life: one check-in, one carry-on, one backpack. I don't have any other thing. Now, another question: how do you afford to travel so much?
So I was actually traveling for really cheap, because even though we were living in all these Marriott and Hyatt hotels around the world, it was actually cheaper than just living in the Bay Area. Because just rent. I was working at Google and then at JP Morgan, and it was remote because of COVID. So and especially because like I said, I was getting a credit card every 2 months, and you have my wife and I, so we were ended up getting 20 credit cards. And you can get these 100,000 point sign up bonuses by just charging the credit card to your Airbnb or hotel, and easily unlock all these points. And we use those points to book all our business class flights for free and the hotels for free. So that's why it was the cost of travel was almost nothing, right? And is compared to the rent we were paying here. So
And like rent, insurance, health insurance, car insurance, it adds up
nothing.
to
So
way
I don't
much
have a
more.
car. I've never bought a car. I've never like had to like get any of these like. There's no bills, right? Except like what health insurance. That's it. Yeah.
That is so incredible.
And oh, one more thing I wanted to mention. We can get that back to it later. Yeah.
Now, another question Vika is asking: what is the best bank account, credit card, and like it's part of our notes as well. Like bank, like your banking identity to have.
So I mean, when you first come here as a student, I just got like a free bank account, like a Chase College. It has no fees, nothing. But like next thing you should do once you get your social security number and so on is to get this like Charles Schwab or Fidelity cash management account, because those give you like a debit card that both of them, a Fidelity or Charles Schwab debit card, lets you take money out of any ATM anywhere in the world in any currency without paying any foreign exchange
Charles
fees.
Schwab, yeah,
Yeah,
that
Charles
does it.
Schwab.
It's so good ATM.
Yeah, it's so good. You can like I was in Turkey. I was taking money out of the ATM in Turkey, or in India when I was taking money out in Indian rupee. You don't have to pay any ATM fee. Even if the ATM charges you $20, $10, the Charles Schwab and Fidelity gives it back to you.
100%.
And so that's the next thing. And you can also invest money through those accounts. So it's actually a 2-in-1. And also like never use your debit card. Just use credit cards, because debit cards have no protections. So if you buy something with a debit card and it is a fraud, there's some fraud transaction or someone steals it, there's no way to get that money back easily. With a credit card in the US is like the best thing ever. No matter, even if I tell my credit card number to somebody and they steal it, or I throw it away on the floor and someone takes it and buys a bunch of stuff, the company just gives back all that money the moment I dispute it. And it's never going from my account, it's going from the company's account, right? The credit card company's account.
So it's safer, less headache.
And you get points, right? You get like what, 3%, 6% points back.
Absolutely. Now, how to invest no brain damage version? I think that's one of the biggest question here.
So just like I think index funds, just buy and hold index funds forever. So like the best way to just buy, like not without even thinking, right? Is that the question?
I think I should just focus on the Q&A, not look
Yeah.
at here.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. So can you touch upon the topic of credit card? I really couldn't wrap my brain around that.
So a credit card is like one of the best things in the US, right? Especially the US credit cards, because you can get credit cards with no foreign transaction fees. You can use it anywhere in the world. You actually are getting a zero interest loan from these companies, as you have to pay it off completely. Credit cards is like kind of dangerous if you don't pay it off, but only get a credit card if you can pay it off every month or every 2 months.
So it's zero interest pay loan only for 30 days, guys.
So no, so if you get it on January 1, let's say you buy something on January 1, The statement closes on February 1. And then you get another 30 days or 45 days to pay off the statement balance.
So 2 months
2.5 months, you're basically getting free money
for 2 months.
and you can pay it off in 2.5 months. And make sure you pay it off. Never carry a balance. Never pay the minimum payment. You have to pay off your full statement balance.
100%.
Otherwise, you'll be getting ripped off.
100%. And now, important question, a good question someone asked is, how do you figure out taxes? How did you manage avoid having to get green card citizenship? So let's talk about first taxes.
So as a student, an F1 visa international student, you don't actually have to pay like all the social security, Medicare, all of these like FICA taxes, which is a great deal. So the first 5 years you're in the US as an F1 student, you don't have to pay much taxes. After that, you have to pay an extra 10% or so in like social security, Medicare, and all these taxes. And the second thing, this is actually only useful if you ever work in the US for a few years and then you leave. And let's say you invest in stocks and you have, let's say, I don't know, $500,000 in profits. If you ever leave the US and you can actually go back to India or some other country, you can actually sell all those stocks tax free. So when I was outside the US for 2 years, I was able to sell all my stocks and not pay a single dollar in capital gains taxes.
Because of the substantial presence test.
Yeah, I was
and
not.
You were not. He was not even. So this only works if you're not a green card holder or
a US citizen.
You're a US citizen and you are coming to the US and you have US stocks and you're living in the US less than 1 month that year and living less than 6 months in India. And then you live anywhere else for the remaining time, you're good.
Yeah, if you spend less than 6 months in India, less than 6 months in other countries, and less than 30 days in the US, you're like a non-resident if you don't have a green card or citizenship. So if like all these students, like someday, if you ever end up going back to your country, you can sell all your stocks at that point. You don't need to sell it now.
This is such a good advice. I mean, that is only needed when you are like rich enough and you want to sell,
At some point, if in 10 years, I have a lot of friends who actually got laid off or whatever and went back to India. So then they can actually sell all stocks. It's not as it's a great deal, right?
100%.
But anyway, so the idea is to buy and hold and never sell.
100%.
And there's you can even hold it until you die. I'm not even planning to sell it. You just hold it until you die. There's something called margin. So if you have, let's say, I don't know, $1 million in stocks or $500,000, you can actually take like up to 30-40% of that as a loan from your stock broker at very low interest. So I have $1 in my bank and I just pay off all my rent and everything just the stock account on margin. So, but it's like once you have enough money, like as a student, I wouldn't recommend doing that.
Totally. Now, another brilliant question: how do you maintain 20 credit cards? Like, I mean,
you don't do it all at once.
Every 2 months you are applying. Now, if you keep doing it, you will have like 10, 15 credit cards. Hard to manage. And why 20 credit cards?
So I just got one at a time. You get one, and 2 months later, you get sign-on bonus. You get 100,000 points, and then you can throw it away and get the next one, right? You
cancel it.
You just don't cancel it. If you cancel it, your credit score goes down. Oh, they can't hear us.
Oh,
what happened? Can you hear us now?
Can you hear us? Okay, it's back. It's back. Okay. Okay. It's
okay.
Back.
Cool.
So like, credit it's coming to like. So you don't cancel it.
So we don't
never cancel a credit card, by the way.
Yeah. So I don't cancel it. You can always downgrade it to a free card. After you wait 1 year, you get the bonus. You can downgrade it to a free card, or you can just lock it and never use it. So you just only have to think about one at a time, right?
Lock it and never use it.
Yeah, freeze it, never use it.
That's
you just
pretty
get
good
it. You pay off all your things. You get your sign-on bonus in 2 months, 3 months. Use the sign-on bonus to book a hotel, a flight, or whatever, and then you can just put it away or throw it away after locking it.
Such an incredible trick. Now, another good question here is when you have 20 credit cards, you should only use few and rest should be locked. So that because it's hard to track.
Track it. But anyways, you can start building the credit score little by little and eventually do it slowly. You don't have to do it all at once, right? As a student.
So for international student, if they want best credit cards, what would be the journey you say? So let's say they start with credit cards that don't need social security number.
Yeah.
Then what are the top credit cards they can get for maximum travel points and then maximum rewards?
So I started with just a student credit card. There's always the first credit card you have to get a student one, like Discover. There's a bunch of them, but Capital One, and then once you build your credit score, you can start getting the good ones like Chase, Sapphire, and American Express, all these ones, good ones that give you 100,000 points as a bonus. So it takes a while to get credit score high enough to get those. But anyway, this is not really worth optimizing too much on as a student right now. It's something you can start building the credit score and then get later. in life. But I just like it's better to start the day you are here to build your at least one student card.
Totally. Now, another good question. I got approved for some credit cards and not others. Not sure what's happening there. How do you increase the odds, the odds of getting the best credit cards?
Sometimes
With
just
not just
calling them.
credit history.
Sometimes just calling them and asking them, going to the bank in person, they'll actually give it to you.
Ah,
But also applying for too many at once will make your credit score drop down.
yeah.
But-
Some people said you shouldn't apply more than 5 a year.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. But
Totally.
we can talk about other stuff as well, you know, like what should we do?
Do you need to worry about lowering credit score, applying and getting denied?
Yeah, so that's why I wouldn't apply for too much. Like if I get rejected, I would wait a little bit to apply again, because the credit score, every time you apply, it goes down for a
They
couple
do
of
a hard
months.
check.
Hard check, and that makes your score go down for a couple of months. But now, even with 20 credit cards, I have over 800 score now, because long term, the more credit cards you get, the higher your credit score is, because your total length limit of total length goes up. Also, your total credit line goes up, which makes your score goes up. The hard checks only make it go down for a few months. Then it'll
100%.
bounce back up.
Totally.
Yeah.
Now let's.
Chase Sapphire is a great card. This is also great, but like eventually you can work your way up.
So now let's talk about, like, as a after graduating.
Yeah.
So when you get money in terms of like taxes, people want hacks, like as an international student, what taxes they should avoid. For example, FICA taxes. Recently, there is news that coming in that international student will be forced to pay FICA as well.
I didn't know about that, but yeah, like for now they don't have to pay any FICA taxes for the first 5 years. So the first 5 years as a F1 student, you're exempt from these taxes. So you have to make sure you tell your employer. Like when I was at Google, they were actually charging me these taxes for the first year before I noticed, and then I had to talk to them and get it back.
Oh, the first year one too.
The first year they was charging me all the Social Security, Medicare tax.
But yeah, if you asked later on, they don't give back.
They gave it back to me.
Thank God.
Yeah.
You have to be on time. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, does the university name matter a lot? Do you think it makes sense to go to a cheaper or smaller college?
So I think the getting the best. So for grad school, getting the best program, getting the best advisor, not just the name of the university, like the group you're working in, is way more important. For undergrad,
It's
it
not
like
so more.
I think it's more important, like the university you go to, and like things have more importance in undergrad. But these days, I don't think like your GPA, the name of the university, matters at all. Like, because even when I was interviewing candidates at Google to hire people at Google, to hire people at JP Morgan, even now, even TwinMind, we got thousands of applicants, and when we are reviewing these applicants, we are never looking at like the university or the GPA or anything. We are just looking at what have they built, like what have they achieved, like what projects have they successfully launched, or what GitHub repos or what awards they have won, or like, you know, some, if they have like a really cool thing that if they say like, I built this app that got 20,000 users using it and has a link to the app, and we can go and see it, that is worth way more than any degree, right? Even if it's a student from MIT, Harvard, or whatever, who has not done much, they only have a 4 out of 4 GPA and they have like a degree, it's not like we're going to hire them, right? We want like real, even at Google, like if you can really solve hard problems when we interview them, and you know, like they've achieved something that stands out compared to everybody else, you know, out of thousands of candidates, if one person has achieved something, you know, they select for this great program, or they got this great fellowship or award or something, that matters much more. If they have a GitHub repository with like 20,000 stars or 10,000 stars, all things will stand out much more. And we also make people do assignments, like really hard coding challenges, coding assignments, so that if the people who did a really good job submitting a great, like, you know, gave a great solution to the problem, that is what we filter for than the degrees.
I think what you work on is very, very important. I can give an example. So anyone who wants to like work at TwinMind or any good AI company, you need to figure out what they are working on, and then figure out how you can replicate that kind of project in your own environment. For example, like many AI companies, they don't host like AI, they don't take API key from ChatGPT. They host it at AWS or somewhere. So you need to have the like replicate environment, right? Some people are asking how to get jobs in AI, like in your company.
Yeah, so to get jobs, like we have like thousands of people applying, and then like we give them like a really hard challenge to solve, and if they do a fantastic job at doing it, or even if they like replicate the twin mind app or something, some piece of it, and say like, hey, I built this thing and look, it works so much well, or it does something better than the way we do it,
Uh-huh.
and send us a link, that's like a great way to hire them, right? Because they're
100%.
like, hey, I built a version of your app that's better,
Or
and here's the
maybe,
link.
or build the watch version.
Yeah, do
We need
something.
that. They need that.
Yeah.
Okay, now beyond CPT and on-campus jobs, what are some creative, legal ways for students to generate income or reduce expenses, like securing scholarships, tuition waivers, etc.? So let me, I can
Yeah, you
answer a
can.
little
Yeah.
bit. So I think the biggest way is food expenses. I think, like, in Bay Area, there is hackathon every single weekend. You go to that hackathon, stay for the weekend there. They give you breakfast, lunch, dinner, and I spend basically in Bay Area breakfast, lunch, dinner. Even if I do it at home, cook it at home, it's at least $30 a day. So you save the
That is, so investing is one way that we can legally make money to, if you have some money. But other than that, like, like, I think we I was able to win awards too, like research awards, like just applying hackathons, like, people are winning like some money in hackathons, like $500, $1,000. You can win awards in competitions. And what are some other ways we actually, we all also, you can get net, if you go to all these networking events, you can always get free food and snacks. So that's one. And Soylent was a great way for me to, at least some meals, I was able to save so much money and use that money to invest. What are other creative ways? um I think like, just like, or even they include like scholarships and all that. So just working at a research lab in your university, right? Even my wife, when she was doing her undergrad in the US, she was able to work at like 6 different research labs. And some, the first one you might not pay you, because the first time you don't have any experience as a freshman. But then once you have that experience as a freshman working at a research lab for free, in your second year and third year, you can get into better research labs that actually pay you, right? You can do research in your university and get paid. You'll get a tuition waiver as well.
so I see.
Somebody's gonna live on Soylent for the next 1 year. I was a guinea pig. I did that for 3 years and I was fine. So there was no health side effects.
So can you share your diet plan with Soylent? Like, each meal is Soylent.
Yeah,
$6 a day.
I would just eat 3 meals a day, Soylent, and then like I would get tired of eating food after. I would get tired of eating it after a few days, and then I would just go out and eat some nice meal.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
That's it. So Soylent breakfast, lunch, dinner. You did for 3 years.
yeah, almost 3 years. Yeah,
Oh
two and
my
a half years.
God. What kind of online freelance side hustles are legally safe for F1 students, and which ones are
I wouldn't
definitely
do.
no-go zones?
Yeah, I wouldn't do any like side hustles, online stuff that could be active employment. So it's not worth risking it. But actually getting an actual internship or so on is,
Way
or
more
like a
important.
research lab, getting awards, winning hackathons, applying to fellowships, scholarships. That's probably much worth doing without
100%.
any risk. But I do see some like Roth, yeah, Roth IRAs are actually legal for international students. That's a great way to invest. You should not be investing in a typical Robinhood account. You should be making Roth IRA if you're a student. If your income is less than $140,000 a year or so, you can actually directly make a Roth IRA, and you can invest in the Roth IRA. You can buy stocks in it, and it's tax free. All the gains that you make in a Roth IRA is tax free. So you could be investing in stock, and even if it like goes up by like $100,000,
Uh-huh.
if it was a typical account, you would be paying some 20%, 15% taxes. But a Roth IRA is tax free, and the money that you put in a Roth IRA, you can actually take it out at any point. But the profits that you make in a Roth IRA, you can only take it out after you're 59 years old, tax free.
But worst case, you pay 10% penalty.
Yeah, and
Like,
then
it
you
will
can
be,
take.
but still the returns will be over, way above
Yeah.
that 10%.
Yeah.
penalty.
I mean, you have to pay 10% penalty plus the taxes if you take it out before 59.
Yeah,
Yeah,
still
but
will
still,
be way
it's
more.
still worth
Worth
it
it.
because there are also situations where you can take it out to buy your first home and all of these things. So there are exemptions where you can take it out before 59.
That's true. First
Yeah.
home. That's a great way to like save up for your first home if you want to buy. So you say $300,000 in taxes by refusing a green card. Can you add on that?
So I actually had a chance to get a green card early on. Like instead of that, I opted for the O1 visa instead of the EB1 green card.
Uh-huh.
And the reason, and that because I was leaving the US for like traveling for a few years, and if you're on, like you said, if you're on a green card or US citizen, you have to pay taxes on your global income, even if you don't spend a single day in the US. So that is the reason why I did not get a green card back then. I just got an O1 visa, and gives you more financial flexibility. and like I said, I could sell all your stocks when you're outside the US tax free. So that was a question. I think we covered some of before.
100%.
Yeah.
If I move back to India, can I still use my Roth IRA after I turn 60?
So in the US, you wouldn't be paying any taxes, even if you're living in India. But the Indian government might tax you, so you have to like look into the Indian taxes. So
Yeah.
India has something. India specifically has something called the RNOR status, which for the first 2 years after you go back to India from the US, after you leave India for a few years and then you go back, you don't actually have to pay any taxes on foreign income in the first 2 years, called RN, resident but not ordinarily resident. But that's only specifically for India.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Any tips on reaching out to research positions? Yeah, so like you should contact professors. You should directly just go talk to all the professors in your university and ask them, do you have is there like a research position available in your lab? And like, I'm willing to work for free in the first year, and then you can then do like ask for payment after you have some experience. Any other question? Let's see. I think we covered most of this. We have uh, pursuing a PhD versus and taking a master's job route. Can you explain the trade-offs between the two? So actually, one of the best hacks is if you get into a PhD program and you decide you don't want to get a PhD, you can always leave with a master's degree in 2 years.
So just commit for PhD and then worst case do a PhD.
Yeah, if you don't,
masters. Yeah.
if you get into a PhD program and you don't like it, you can always leave with a master's after 2 years, and that means you've got a free master's degree. You don't have PhD programs are funded, so you don't have to pay for a tuition. You don't have to. You get paid. You get paid like $2,000, $3,000 a year as a stipend. So whereas if you go for a master's program, you have to pay tuition. You don't get a stipend.
So,
Whereas
but it's hard. You getting accepted as a PhD student directly from undergrad is extremely hard.
It is extremely hard. So I did my undergrad at IIT Bombay, and then I applied to like 9 PhD programs in the US. I got rejected by 8, and I only got into one, which was University of Illinois. And so it is a little hard, but if you apply to a lot of places, so and then the advantage is like even me after my first 2 years, I was planning to leave with a master's degree because I had job offers from Google and NVIDIA and so on. But then I got this PhD fellowship, and I thought, okay, I will stay one more year and do my PhD. So I actually have a master's degree, and then I decided to leave, and then I decided to immediately come back, and then I continued my PhD. That's how I like did it, like 2+1.
Wow, interesting. Now, for students watching right now, what would you advise them? Like, is this the right time to get PhD or masters?
I think right now the best thing to do is to build something. It's to like actually build skills, building like a product, doing a project, putting something on GitHub, launching your app, like getting users, like that kind of skills, like or like publishing papers. All of those skills is like much more important than like getting grades or courses or even doing a degree or a PhD. If you can actually coming to the US is worth it to do a degree. But if you're already in the US, then like you should just be building things and trying to get like a job or like make some impact, right? Because with AI tools, you can achieve so much more these days. Anyone without even a degree can like do great research, do great projects, start a company, apply to Y Combinator, and like there are so many opportunities. 100%. I don't think it is worth doing a 6-year PhD right now.
Yeah.
If you really are passionate about research and you really care about like advancing knowledge and publishing papers and like becoming a professor or a researcher, then it's worth it. But if your goal is to just get a job, I don't think it is worth doing that long. It's like 6-year, 5-year process.
100%. And I think at the same time, we should remember like not everyone can like think about quitting college. It's only for few students out there who are in their first or second year. They have the maximum leverage right now. If they're able to build quickly, they can quit college and like get into YC and get accepted. But people who are in third or fourth year, they're not able to decide because they're so close to their destination. So the younger you are, more leverage you have, and things are in your control. So if you're younger, just go out, take risks.
Yes, and even if you're in your third or fourth year, the best way is like actually have students who are doing their part-time CPT and working with us, right? So that's the best way to get a job and also have impact while you're in school. You actually learn real world skills working at a company. right? And you probably would learn more than you would learn in a course by actually working in a company on part-time CPT, like a startup. So we actually have many students who are doing the part-time CPT, and they say that they learn way more working here directly with people who are experienced and building real stuff than they're learning in courses.
100%. Okay, we have more questions coming in. So, suggestion for all of us non-technical people: what should we be building?
And before that, I also see a question that says, like, should we do a master's in their home country and then apply for a PhD in the US? No, I don't think so. The best thing about US is you can directly apply for a PhD without having a master's degree. So it's not really worth doing a master's and then doing a PhD, because it'll take you the same amount of time to do a PhD in the US if you already have a master's, or even if you don't have a master's. I did not have a master's and I was still able to do it fast. So it doesn't really add any value. But yeah, the next question was like, what do non-technical people do to build something? Like, even if you're like non-technical, let's say like you are like let's say you are like a, I don't know, designer, like, or a writer or whatever. Like, it's all about what have you done. It's the first question we ask when we um, hire people. So, like, what have you won? What experience do you have? Where have you interned? Like, what did you do at that internship? What is the, like, how, even if it's marketing or design or writing, like, send me your blogs that you've written, or stories that you've written, or marketing campaigns that you've ran before. How successful was it? Like, how many followers did you grow your social media to? These kind of things are what we look for. If someone is applying to us for a marketing role, we will ask, like, how have you marketed yourself? Like, how many followers do you have on your social media, or have you marketed something else? Have you grown some other company? So it's about all about experience, and as a student you can get experience on part-time CPT
100%. I
or
think it's
internships.
and it's about trying new things. I mean, sometimes problems that your team you are facing in your life as a student or around you, if you solve it, that's what YC wants.
Yeah.
But that's what all the accelerators wants.
I see a question whereas like something about the O1. Are you still on O1 visa? What are the implications for growing a company in the US, building and growing a company? So actually, right now is the best time to start a company, because now all these rules have changed where you are able to start a company on OPT. You can actually start a company on OPT or even on CPT actually. And you have to, I'm not a legal like tax attorney, so you'll have to verify all this. But I think that you can start a company on CPT, OPT. I've seen friends do it. And you can even start a company on H1B. You can self-sponsor your H1B. You can also start a company on O1 visa. And there is also, I actually have got all the visas. I've got J1 when I was an intern here. Then I got F1. Then I got H1B. I got a B1, B2 visa, and I got a O1 visa. Even on a B1, B2 visa, you are actually allowed to own a company in the US. You can't technically work or get paid, and you can't do like active work, but you can still do activities like fundraising, right? You can still do like, so I was able to like, own, incorporate a company in the US, a Delaware C Corp. I was able to um, get funding, talk to investors, get funding. These are all legal activities. You can come to the US to talk to investors, get funding, incorporate company in the US, all of that, even as a B1, B2, like a student, as a visitor business visa.
Interesting. Wow. That is so
But you can't
fascinating.
actively work or make money.
Wow. You can still pitch to investors.
Yeah. And then you can raise funding, you can incorporate it, then you can sponsor your O1 or H1B, and then actually start working.
Excellent. Excellent. That's amazing. So, what are the let's read more questions.
Yeah, let's go down. What are you? Let's go from here. Is there a benefit to prioritizing O1 visa versus an EB1A for building stuff or growing a company? So the advantage of O1 visa is it's really fast. If you pay for premium processing, you can get it in 2 weeks. And there are actually lawyers willing to like apply for it and give you a refund if you don't get it, right? The full refund. So it's still worth it to try it out. And EB1, especially for India and China and all these companies, takes a long time. It's like backlogged. It could take like 2 years.
So O1 lawyers are taking guarantee that you will get O1 visa,
or they give you a refund. There are people like that.
Wow.
And even for EB1, there are companies, lawyers that, like my co-founder actually got his green card from like a company that would give him a full refund if he didn't get his green card. And because they were confident, given your accomplishments, what have you done? They will ask you these questions and then they'll give you that offer.
So just pitching to those companies, like for example, there's Victoria Chen. I think she also does that. The lawyer. So just pitching to those people, you get confidence that if they're accepting my
Yeah.
case, I
Yeah.
will get it.
Yeah. So that's actually great. So that's how my co-founder was able to get his green card. And even when he was a student, he got his green card as a PhD student. He did not even graduate. He had published a couple of papers. He found this firm that was like, we will give you a full refund if you don't get it. And then he just said, okay. And that's how he got his green card. So it's like, and there are benefits of getting the O1 visa in terms of it's actually faster. You get it in 2 weeks. You also don't have this like thing where if you leave the US, you have to pay US taxes. So there are some benefits to having a visa versus a green card. And the typical path is some people get the O1 visa first and then they apply for the EB1 green card. And then the second question, what lead code project skills apply? What is the best advice for someone who's in the US right now? So like in terms of lead coding or doing projects, I think doing projects and building skills is the number one thing. If you can make an impactful project, GitHub repository or some product that people use versus lead coding, because companies are going away from lead coding. Facebook just announced that they're not going to do any lead coding anymore. And
so that's why I think like building stuff and like showing your knowledge in like using AI efficiently. For example, like I think so many developers I talk to, like Cursor is the entry to AI assisted development. They don't know what embedding models they're using. They don't know what kind of AI they're using. You should know how your tools are working. So if you can code using AI well and you understand how AI is helping you code well, you can do the same in AI interview and you can do the same in actual workplace as well.
yeah, so and lead code is going away, especially companies like Cluely and like Final Round AI and all these companies make it so easy for people to cheat on lead code. Companies don't even trust it anymore, right?
And-
What they will trust is what you have accomplished before. And also another thing is to grow your personal brand. I think that's more important than ever. I mean, you are an expert at this, right? You are growing your, like I have friends who got jobs by just posting on LinkedIn all their like projects and building a following, getting like 50,000 followers by just talking about AI, sharing their like collab notebooks or GitHub repos that are actually others find it useful, or they just talk about like what they learned today about AI and like write nice Medium articles or blog posts. That alone is a sign that these people are actually like building their personal brand and they know the stuff they're talking about.
Totally. Awesome. I think that's a good wrap up, pretty much.
Should we take any last questions? Let's see.
Yeah, I think that's like immigration question. I think
If you don't have research papers, you can still get O1, right? If you get into a very selective program like Y Combinator or like some other like very selective awards. I have friends who did not do a PhD, had no papers, who still got O1 visa because of their like accomplishments or impact or projects that they've done. I think we have covered all of these things. Is there anything that's very exciting that we missed?
No.
Credit score, we covered that. Travel points.
Yeah, we
working,
covered all of that. Yeah.
Career, negotiating your job is actually something we forgot to cover, right? A lot of people had asked me that question. So it's very important to negotiate your job when you get it, right? People like do interviews one by one instead of scheduling it all in the same week, right? There is this great article by this guy, Hazib Qureshi, about how to negotiate your job, how to get job interviews, how to coordinate it, and how to negotiate salary, which is like a super viral blog post. We can link that in the comment later.
Hazib
Qureshi, about how he like 10 tips to negotiate your offer.
Oh, wow.
And that's a great article, and it's worth. So basically, the idea is, yeah, that one, right? 10 rules. This one, Hasib Qureshi. So 10 rules for negotiating a job offer. So the basic idea is, you whatever you do, even if it's fundraising or even if it is like getting a job, whatever it is, you have to create like a demand for you, right? So if you can prepare for all these interviews but not actually schedule them, but then schedule like 50 companies or 30 companies within like a narrow window of like 2 weeks, then you can get a bunch of offers at parallel and use that to negotiate. And it also makes it easier to get job offer, because the moment one company puts you in the final stage of the interview or gives you an offer, you can tell all the other companies, hey, like I am in the final stage at this company, can you accelerate your process? I just got an offer, I have to make a decision within like 5 days, can you accelerate it? And all the other companies will want you more.
This is genius.
They will actually, because of the fact that you're telling them, because we are interviewing like hundreds of candidates, if one of them tells us, hey, we just got a job offer, I have to make a decision within 5 days, we are going to let him skip the line and pay more attention to that guy, because we feel like this guy is actually really good. That's why he has multiple offers or he got another offer. So having coordinating 20 job interviews within 2 weeks, and the moment you get one job offer, even it's from a really like low tier, like even if it's like really low offer from a company that nobody has heard of, the fact that you reached out to all the others saying that you got an offer and you have to make a decision within 5 days makes everyone want you more, and you get to skip interview steps and then land like 5-10 different job offers or 5 job offers at the same time. And then they will be in a bidding war where you can negotiate your salaries. I have friends who double their compensation. I was able to make my compensation go up like 80% by getting multiple offers at the same time. So that's actually really worth optimizing for.
Like these advice mentioned by Hasib is brilliant. Like, look at this. Information is power. If you know what information you have about what salaries they give, if you know that they're giving out extra to them, then you can keep the door open and tell them that I'm in final stage with other companies. It's genius.
This is definitely worth reading. He goes into really great detail about the psychology of recruiters, psychology of hiring managers, companies, what their perspective is, and so on.
Excellent.
And
let's see more questions we
we
have.
actually had some in that. Let's see.
Taxes and retirement,
We covered.
wealth minimalism, life design, we did it. Starting a company.
Starting a company.
And fundraising.
I think we covered a lot of that. Raising money and like, yeah. So at
money ops and transfer and yeah.
How it's financial stuff works, it's pretty obvious. So
you want to go with this?
Rapid fire?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can cover some of them. I think, yeah, like the countries that I like traveling the most, right? I think Japan, Iceland, Peru.
Why?
All of them are really different. And I'm from India, so I didn't count like countries similar to India, like Sri Lanka and all is really great. But Japan is like by far the best place. Both me and my wife like the most, in terms of like beautiful natural stuff, beautiful man-made stuff, great food, great, really clean, great public transport, very different culture, very well-preserved culture. So it feels like you're going to an entirely different planet. It's not much influenced by other Western cultures. Yeah, so then there's like really a lot to see, the whole country. What other things did people ask?
One purchase to skip in college.
No, I think we've covered almost all of these.
Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome.
Awesome.
Thanks
Thank
so
you so much, everyone.
Everybody for joining, and we can put which part of Kerala? I'm from Kochi. Yeah, I think we can wrap up. Thanks so much, everyone who showed up, and can put some links and everything later in the YouTube channel post.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye.